Hey guys, I'm back with another one, and we'll be going over the Vex Sustained build. Like the name implies, we'll have everything we need up 100% of the time, with where we've delegated our points, and how we'll be using our gear. Nothing's going to stay down. We kill skill focused within this one, but we'll have that up all the time. And it's really enjoyable to play, fast fire rate, high damage, and I want you all to give it a try. Before we actually get into the build though, I did just want to apologise for the lack of videos recently, as yeah, I've been feeling really ill over the past week. I think I'm on the back end of it now, but if I do sound all groggled, that would be why, so I do apologise. And if you like this content, please subscribe, as I'm trying to push out more as soon as possible. I know it doesn't sound true since I've been ill, but yeah, I'm going to get right back on it, and a lot more is to come, so yeah. Let's get into it. So we will start off with our gear first. So I'm using Revel and Tempting Handle. This is only for the airstrike. I wouldn't worry about this too much for Bloom Reaper. The other option you have for it is the Dark Beast. Dark Beast is an all-around good weapon anyway. Good for mobbing. Can be good for bossing. And yes, I just want everyone to give this thing a go. Most people do use it, but if you haven't, try it out. Wombo combo. Wombo combo is really fun in this build. Like I said, we do have a lot of high fire rate. So using something like the Wombo combo that's putting out rockets that can deal absurd amounts of damage is just no reason not to try it. Comes in all the elements and it's really enjoyable. So yeah. Complex Root. Complex Root is going to be our main weapon for bossing. It works really well on big targets, even small targets. I've been going after the Phosphenes recently, and when it comes to like those small bosses, tracker darts like the alt fire, Atlas License Underbarrel, as soon as you hit them tracker darts, all the pellets are going to hit, and the numbers can just be ridiculous. And yeah, we are using the tracker on this. It just puts out so much more damage, and I'm using it for my Bloom Reaper runs just to get as high as I can. And yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun. So going down to our rep kit, we are using the triple bypass. Three of them. Use it 3 times. We're in our build. We're getting fire rate off of using our rep kit, so there's no reason why we don't want this. Amazing healing from this thing as well, just because we can use it 3 times. And we're also using amp with it, so it grants increased damage of the next shot by 200%. We're getting that 200% quite a lot of the time. Obviously, with 3 charges, as it just works so well together. You don't need amp with it though. You could go something like Enrage. Enrage is also a nice option. Just because, well, you get 30% extra damage. Yeah, you take that 30% as well, but it's still boosting it. But yeah. Going over to our ordnance, you do want the crit knife. You can use this build without it, but crit knife giving us our like crit chance on a lot of bosses does make the difference. You do notice it a lot of the time, but when it comes to mobbing, you don't need to mess around with this thing at all. And there are some bosses where it's not required, but I do suggest everyone goes and picks this up. Okay, for our class mod, we'll be using the Teen Witch. So when Vex has maximum health, her life still partially applies to shields. A lot of damage we'll be getting is through having overshield specializations as well. So we want this up as much as we can, and us dealing damage, giving us like overshield as well, is just a really good thing to have. So we take that. The 5 points in here, I'll show you quick as well, gives us more lifesteal, basically equaling more damage and more overshield. So you do preferably want it. Hang on, let me go back 1 sec. Yeah, you do want it with 5 out of 5 and grey first. The other 2 points give us overshield damage, I believe. Yep. Corporeal. I don't know how to pronounce that. I do apologise. So Vex and her minions gain increased maximum overshield capacity and overshield duration. That's amazing already. And while Vex has overshield, she and her minions gain increased damage dealt. And damage dealt is 12% while Vex has overshield. So it's just more damage, more overshield, and more duration. So we take that. On our shield, we're going what's for dinner. It's obvious just because when we have overshield, and we'll have that like all the time, we get 25% shock damage on top of the damage we're already dealing. I've also got amp on this triple roll. This isn't required. It's nice to have though. Any kind of version of amp's just good to have, especially because when our shields are full, that they are going to be constantly, because this build is just filling it up. That 150% gun damage comes more common than it not. So yeah, that's why we're after amp. There, you could go absorb as well. Absorb's not a bad one, just so you take less damage and you're receiving your ammo back, but I would go after Amp if you can. For our enhancement, I am using an Atlas one for most of the gameplay. That's merely because I don't require to use anything else. This build is ridiculous as it is, so I don't change it much. When I do though, when I do, I'd normally switch it out for a Daedalus one. Sometimes I mess around with the bod. Like I said, the Dark Beast is really good. So yeah, I'm normally sticking with the Atlas one. The one I'm going for is Trauma Bond for the 30% damage while target lock is active. I also use Tracker Antenna for the 40% fire rate, but I'm stick to the damage. The damage seems to do a lot more for me than the fire rate, and we're getting fire rate in this build anyway, so I think going for damage isn't a bad idea. Okay, we will go over our firmware really quickly. So we are using Atlas Infinite at 2 for the gun fire rate by 12% while we're locked on, and guns with Atlas license parts gain 15% damage, so more damage and more fire rate while we're locked. There is the other Atlas firmware you could use that gives more damage. You can use that as well. I think it's like 2 points into the firmware you get more damage. But I suggest if you're going to use that, you switch out for the fire rate enhancement. You don't just stick with the damage one. Also using high caliber for the projectile speed by 25%, the gun damage increased by 10%, and the final one is God Killer. You could also go heating up for the reload speed. That's not a bad idea. We don't have much reload speed in this build. We do have a way to maintain not reloading, but yeah, you do have the option of use something like heating up. I just go God Killer because we're getting that 10% extra damage on bosses and badasses, so that's why I'm going for that. Okay, so going into our skill tree, we'll be using Guns and Needles 3 out of 3 for the rep kit cooldown. This is a kill skill, and it's going to reduce our rep kit cooldown by 21% every time we use it. We will be able to get our rep kit back constantly, so we're taking 3 out of 3 in this, giving us our 21% just so we can put that in, get our action skill back as quick as possible, and get our rep kits back as soon as possible as well. 5 out of 5 into Gravesight, so kill skill Vex gains increased critical hit damage and gun handling 15% per stack on both max 3 stacks. That's going to be a 45% increase already. We do have 3 out of 3 in Grave Power, so we get 3 max stacks on top of that, so that's going to be a 90% increase overall. Grave Implements, a kill skill, so Vex and minions gain increased gun damage for duration, 20%, max 3 stacks, but with our other 3 stacks we can consider this 60%. Fiendish Invigoration, so when Vex uses a rep kit, she and her minions gain increased movement speed and fire rate for a duration. So this is another reason we've gone Guns and Needles, so giving us our rep kit cooldown, getting them back as soon as possible, just means this movement speed and fire rate will have up all the time. When it comes to mobbing, you're never running out of this, and because our kill skills from lower down the tree can be procced off of just critical hits and not actually kills themselves, we'll still be getting this rep kit cooldown, and we will still be sustaining this 30% fire rate and movement speed. I've already been over, but Grave Power, Vex kill skills gain increased max stacks. This is boosting a lot of the build, just because all the stacks we have, we're getting 3 more on top of that. We've got 5 out of 5 into Conjunction, so Vex gains increased gun damage the more full her shield, and gains damage reduction the less full her health. Gun damage 30% at full shield. We're sustaining our shield all the time. It's really never going down. So consider that 30% all the time. And damage reduction by 50% at 1 health. I believe the way it works is it's not only going to start working at 1 health, but it will give you a max at 50% at 1 health. We're also using Drinkful, so when Vex deals gun damage, she gains a stack of Drinkful, increasing her fire rate. So it's a 0.60 per stack, a max 50 stacks. So this is just more fire rate on top of Fiendish Invigoration. So just stacking together, more fire rate, more DPS. We're also using for augment Witchy Triggerfinger, so dealing damage with Eldritch Blast or Phase Explosion will fully refill ammo of Vex's current gun and grant a stack of Witchy Triggerfinger, increasing gun damage for a duration. So gun damage 15% per stack, 45%, consider that with our other 3 stacks, another 90% damage on top of the damage we've been dealing before. So 90% damage and 90% crit damage, not including everything else, is just absurd. But yeah, we got the fire rate here. This is working our way down to mortal terror, so chance to activate kill skills when critically hitting enemies. Kill skill trigger 5%. With the fire rate we've got within this build already, and on the complex route, the amount of pellets that are coming out, these critical hits are going to happen constantly, meaning our kill skills will be up constantly. The 5% is nothing to worry about. We use that down to get to vibe check, so Eldritch Blast is now a charge skill. Activating Eldritch Blast consumes all charges to ricochet on hitting enemy. Will ricochet once for each charge consumed. You could use Heart Piercer, it's just this now sacrifices health, and I don't enjoy that. So yes, we go vibe check. Okay, so the final thing I'm going to go over is my specializations. You do not need this many points, so don't worry about it. And there are a few things you can change if needed. So I'm currently using the best defense because the Vault Hunter gains increased damage dealt based on the fullness of their shield or health, which has higher maximum capacity. Both of them are going to be up constantly, so that 30% damage dealt on everything will be up constantly as well. Riddle you this. Whenever the Vault Hunter deals gun damage, gain a stack of Riddle you this, increasing gun damage 1% per stack, max 50 stacks. So it's 50% damage, that's how I'm going to look at it, because we'll have that up all the time. In the zone, this is something you can switch out. I switch between in the zone and bullet train, but in the zone, so while aiming, the Vault Hunter gains increased gun damage and critical hit damage, but is a big one, per second. Bonuses are lost after 2 seconds of not aiming. So 5% for the critical damage and the gun damage and max 5 stacks. That's 25%, but we do have up a lot of the time. I do enjoy it. And the final thing we're going to go over is now with caffeine. So reduce action skill cooldown when a rep kit is activated. So because we can get our rep kits back so much with our kill skills going off of critical hits and just killing an enemy, using those rep kits for the sake of it to get our action skill back is just going to have it up all the time. You're never running out. Like if you use all 3, your action skill, boom, it's back. Kill a few more, your rep kits are back before your action skill's even drained again. You can just spam rep kits and you can spam your action skill. I did look at, hang on, where is it? Yeah. So I did put some points before into Grave Sustenance and I was messing around with it. And it's good, it does work. But I just preferred the fact that I can do so much more within my action skill and get it back so much quicker by putting these points into guns and needles and having my specializations now with caffeine. Alright, and that will be all for the video. So I do hope you all enjoyed. Like I'll say again, I am really sorry about not posting recently, but hopefully I am on the back end of this cold, fingers crossed, and yeah, I'll be uploading more. This is the first Vex build I've done, so I do hope you all enjoy, and I think I'm going to go on to a mod next. I want to do one for all of them, and see how it goes, just so I have like a stable base if anyone needs one for each character. But yeah, I do hope you all enjoyed. Subscribe if you do enjoy this kind of content, and I'll see you in the next one, guys.